Hey, what's up you guys? I'm Sarah Lerat. Welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about my Q2 writing goals and my attack plan for Camp NaNoWriMo April. I wanted to say a quick thank you because I passed 300 subscribers last week on my birthday, and I couldn't have done that without you guys, so thank you so much for your support. That being said, if you are not already subscribed, please scroll down, hit that big red subscribe button and that little thumbs up button next to it because it really supports my channel. And let's jump into the video. This video is an update from my 2020 goals video because a lot of my original 2020 goals have changed. In this video, I'm gonna quickly recap what I accomplished in Q1 and talk about my goals for Q2 in Camp Nano. A quick recap of my goals that I set in January for the year of 2020 are: I wanted to get a job, I wanted to leave my apartment every day, I wanted to get my project DE to 350,000 words by the end of summer, I wanted to read 12 books this year, I wanted to do a Spartan race, and I wanted to upload 60 YouTube videos. So those are my original goals. I went through and revised my goals because a lot of things have changed in the past 3 months, and so now here are my updated goals. I still want to get a job, of course. I still want to leave my apartment / house where I am right now every day, except it's raining today, so probably not today, but every day that I can. And instead of trying to get to 350,000 words in my project DE, what I ended up figuring out on January 22nd is that I was writing the ending to the first book. Because I was writing through from start to finish, I thought I was writing the entire series and then I would figure out where book breaks fell, but because I figured out where the first book break was, I decided to print out that book and begin editing it. Because of this, it means that I am a lot further along in the process than I thought I was going to be at this point in time. So instead of getting to 350,000 words in this project, my new goal is to start looking for an agent before the end of the year. Probably a lot sooner than that, but at the very least by the end of the year. I still want to read 12 books and I still want to do a Spartan race, but because of the virus, I'm not sure that's going to be able to happen. So my goal is to just keep training for one so that I'm ready in case this thing blows over and I can. And I still want to post 60 YouTube videos, but I've started posting twice a week instead of once a week. And so I'm going to hit that no problem. And then we have my goals for Q2. I'm still applying for jobs. I'm still trying to leave my apartment or my house every day, but most importantly, I'm going to finish the second draft of my project DE. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a second, but then my second goal for DE for Q2 is to get it out to some betas. I want to keep training for a Spartan race, even though they've had to cancel a lot of their races this year for good reason, and odds are that they will not start putting them back on in time for the one that was scheduled in my area, but I'm going to keep training for it, and this one kind of goes hand in hand with leaving my apartment every day because I tend to go for walks, and those walks have been getting in 2 to 4 miles a day, which is a good way to get my mileage in as I'm starting to train for this race, even if I'm not running it. My goal for YouTube is to continue posting twice a week. I might choose to bump that up to 3 times a week during Camp Nano, but I'm not totally sure about that one yet. That's gonna depend on just how I'm feeling week to week. And then of course, we finally come to Camp NaNoWriMo in April. I am currently working on the big picture edits for my project DE, and I wanted to give myself 6 weeks, and the 6 weeks that fell on was the last 2 weeks of March and all of April. So I have already started this process, but I'm going to continue that until the end of April, and this is what I'm going to be working on during camp this year. I started editing the rough draft of my project DE, which is a high fantasy that covers currently 3 perspectives. Originally it was 4, it might go back to 4, but right now we're at 3, and covers topics such as relationships, religion, and magic, and dragons, and all that fun stuff. The way I wanted to tackle the big picture edits for this project was starting with the shortest of the 3 perspectives, which I thought was going to be the easiest, and then going to the mid-length perspective and doing that one, and then taking on the longest perspective, which I also think needs the most work. But I started working on the shortest perspective on March 14th, which happened to be about 2 weeks ago, and then on March 28th, I finished the big picture edits on that perspective. This means that I have 4 weeks to do the other 2, and that concerns me a little bit just because of how much work the other 2 need. But I do have a lot of momentum currently coming off of editing the shortest perspective. I finished last night, and big picture editing went really well. I'm very happy with where it stands. It's very structurally sound, and I was able to add scenes that really rounded out the perspective for me, and the character's plot arc are much closer to where I want them to be, and so it feels really real now, and when you're reading it when I'm reading it, I feel like it feels like it's much more of an immersive experience because the character feels so much more real. But Camp NaNoWriMo April starts tomorrow, which means I have 30 days 31 days if we include today, to completely big picture edit the other 2 perspectives in my project DE. I'm excited about getting rolling with this next step in the process. It's a little daunting, but I need to just go and sit down and start working on the second perspective, but I have not done that yet. I'm a little nervous, but I think I'm gonna start on that later today. On the Camp Nano website, you have 2 options for making your own goals. You can either put it in terms of writing or editing, and then you can set your word goal. What I did was I set it to be an editing goal for all 87,000 words in DE. With big picture editing, the first of the 3 perspectives, I've already added a net of 3,500 words. And my goal when I made my Camp Nano plan and prep video was to add a total net of 15,000 words to the second draft. And adding those 15,000 words during these big picture edits will put me at about 100,000 words when I'm finished working on the second draft, which is a very nice length for the first fantasy book in a series. As I'm sure you've probably noticed, each of the graphics that have popped up on here include the word opportunity, which was my word intention for the year. This gift of time that we have right now really strongly resonates with my word of opportunity and like the whole feeling that we were given this gift of time. I've talked a little bit about this in my past couple of videos, but I'm just gonna recap it really quickly. I graduated college a few months ago, and because I've always put school first, I feel like I've been postponing a few things. My dreams are big and I've been putting them on the back burner. But now that I'm out of school, I don't have a full-time job, I'm essentially out of excuses. Being in school was obviously very important. I knew I needed to put it first. I did put it first, but now that I'm graduated, it's time for me to get to work. And then this whole thing of self-distancing hits, and like I'm not allowed to be around other people, so now my social life isn't getting in the way. It's finally time to make my dreams a priority, get down to business, and finish this thing. I'm really ready to put my writing first and just get on with it. I'm really ready to knock out the second draft during Camp NaNoWriMo April and get moving on with the next edit, and then somehow, somewhere, sometime, get eyes on my project DE. That also means that I will need to do things like give it a legitimate title, because what I call it, DE, are the initials of the original title, which are no longer relevant to the story. So I need to give it a legitimate title. Only 2 of my characters have names, and so I need to name the rest of them. I'm sure I'll make a video about that whole process, but it's just hard to pick. But I probably need to do that before I send it out to betas. And of course, I want to make sure that I'm showing myself compassion during this time with my goals. Maybe more than normal, but like I try to give myself compassion when I don't meet goals normally, but especially during this time of uncertainty, because depending on how long this span of self-isolation happens, if it continues, I will probably be able to get more done. Whereas if this thing blows over and I get a full-time position, I might not be able to make progress towards my creative goals as quickly as I would have liked to. But I'm just taking it one day at a time and moving forward, because I believe that progress is progress. And editing means that not every day you're adding words. I will be tracking my Camp Nano efforts in 2 ways: in net added words and my time spent on projects. Obviously, on the Camp Nano website, you can only use 1 metric at a time, and so it will be words on the NaNoWriMo website, but my personal spreadsheet is already set up for April, and I've already been tracking like this for a little over 2 years, almost at 2.5 years, and it has been evolving along the way to best suit my writing needs. But this is what it looks like this month. I have it calculate my daily totals from each of my projects, as well as color coding progress and tracking time. It's a really nice visual way to watch my progress. I am also working on brainstorming a science fiction book, or series, but right now it's book, and we'll be working on that as needed throughout April as a break from my project DE when I get sick of the big picture edits. That's just to keep my mind really fresh, and so that I don't feel like I'm exhausting it on one thing when I really have a multitude of things I could be working on. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and a comment, and subscribe because I post videos twice a week. I'm thinking about posting 3 days a week during Camp Nano because the community aspect of it is really what makes it work. So I'm going to be putting up a lot of videos in April, so make sure you subscribe, and I will see you guys next week with another video. Bye!